Retay Ace. This one's an extra black. Man, I'm so pumped up finally get this out. I wanted this to be a real world kind of review, right? And so I wanted some time with it. I'm halfway through my duck season. I have 107 days where I'm at, just over 60 days. So I feel like I'm at a good point where I can give it a review. I've had this in some crazy conditions, just like you wing shooters or other duck hunters. I'm down here in Utah. We're saltier than the ocean. But basically, I want to give you kind of a rundown of my experience with it, the ammo I shot, the conditions I've had it in, and basically what this gun, what this configuration is. I'll go over some technical stuff, but I'll be honest, Retay does a great job at their website, social media of talking about some of the technical stuff on that. So I'll breeze right through that. But this is a real world review. I'm a duck hunter just like you guys, so I'm going to dive right into it. So this is a 20 gauge. I do actually have the exact same gun in 12, extra black 28-inch barrel, but I only really shoot that for early goose. I've shot a 20 gauge now for a decade. Absolutely love it. Not going to change that. But this gun, like I said, an extra black 28-inch barrel. I love the 28-inch barrel for just the way I like to shoot and swing. The niceties that this thing has. Everything's oversized, right? I'm not a glove guy, but without gloves or with gloves, everything being oversized is awesome, man. And in the right places. And what I mean by that is the forearm's pretty slim. So if you do have gloves, I noticed that everything is kind of slimmed down, right? And it's hard to do these kind of things, in a review like this because I don't have any action shots or how it holds. But I'll tell you this: if you have an opportunity, just go to the local store and shoulder it because there's something about this shotgun that just shoulders. It feels good, and I realized that when I first picked it up. So the big thing is with this shotgun is the reliability, and I cannot tell you. I'm going to say the word flawless because that's what it's been. Um, I put about 1,000 rounds in the summer with this, and I'll go over my little torture test that I do. So I break it in, right? I get the gun, I clean it, I get all some of that packing, shipping grease out, and I put the proper grease in there, and then I go shoot about 10 to 15 shells of your duck load, your whatever you have, 3-inch, whatever. And then after that, I get about 25 to 30 rounds of the cheapest clay load you can find, right? That's those 100-round packs at Walmart or whatever. And I simply shoot 25 to 30 shells as fast as I can at targets to get this thing to fail. It did not fail doing that. That was before I put 1,500 rounds or 1,000 rounds of clays through it. So to say the word flawless, it's easy for me to say because it has been. Now, I'm down here in Utah, saltier than the ocean. I hunt this. I'm actually trying to and almost duck hunting for a living. So I hunt 4 or 5 days a week, salty conditions. And, whatever the gun is, you have to take care of it a little bit on the cleaning. I have looked for blemishes because I do not clean it every time. And I see nothing. Like I said, no any kind of rust or anything. So this thing is absolutely holding up. It's been phenomenal. Now, some of the technical things. My favorite is the lengthened forcing cone. And the reason is you can buy another gun and you have to send that off to go get that kind of work done. For me, the most pellets on target equals clay down, bird down, whatever. So if I can have something from the factory that I can just get out of the box and cuts down that steel, whatever tungsten, bismuth you like, cuts down that turbulence and gets that pattern more dense, I'm all in, especially right out of the box. So to me, huge. So the conditions, like I said, down here in Utah, 4 to 5 days a week, salty. I actually just got back from a trip. I was up at the Pacific Northwest, 100% sand. I mean, it was crazy. The guys I was going up there warned me and said, "Hey, man, try to keep your gun elevated. Put something down if you can find a log or something to not put it directly in the sand because the dog kicking or you just moving in wind, it's gonna throw sand in here." And guys, the guy that made the recommendation, he had one of these on order. He's been wanting to try it, and he's been asking me my opinion. I said it's been flawless. And kid you not, in that hunt, he had a different manufacturer. It was a gas-operated gun, and it failed on him a couple times there. So I just say that because all guns can fail, but this one has simply not. I had tons of sand in there. And what I do to keep it really maintained, honestly, is I wipe it down here and there. And I also just get some air and just blow it out. And then you guys know about the removable trigger guard. That came in handy that day, because I've had some people will ask me, well, why is that such a cool thing? Well, that was in particular a cool thing because I literally got home that night, pulled it out or to the hotel, and just sprayed it out with some air and got all that stuff out. So it wasn't a full teardown. It was a long day in the field. We were tired, but I did know I'm going to at least try to get to it a little bit. So that's all I did. Pull the trigger out, hit some air with it. Another thing that you think a 20 gauge doesn't kick, and they really don't. But when you put a lighter gun and a duck load in it, there'll be some recoil. But this recoil pad, everyone's joking now at Retay. It looks like your sneaker, your favorite tennis shoe air pocket. It does the job, honestly. And on the 12 gauge, I shot it with early goose. And from shooting, I actually shot the Mosamar before this, noticeably less recoil, right? And so on a 20 gauge, this thing shooting mag loads, nothing. And so that's what I really like about it. Some of the ammo, I like all the brands. I kind of get the best deal I can, but I've had all the top brands through this. I've shot 2 3/4, actually some early season, some really light ounce and 7/8 steel shot for some openers I did, all the way to ounce and an eighth or ounce and a quarter tungsten. Now I'm starting to transition to some of that heavier stuff. And guys, it just hasn't failed, man. It's been absolutely flawless. And these videos are hard to do, like I said earlier, because there's no action shots. But if you have the opportunity, get down to your sporting goods store and just shoulder it, because it shoulders absolutely phenomenal. And I'm just going to explain that to you. You need to just go put it in your hand. Everything about this gun, they slimmed up the forearm a little bit, even down here. It just fits really nice. And the cool thing is with the style. See, this is kind of a round back. They make a type R, which is just a little bit of a hump squared, kind of squared, so to speak, in the back. That thing, I was torn. I like couldn't decide. And so I went with it on this because, I came from a gun similar to this style back, but I think the next one I might try that type R as well and just kind of have a couple different flavors, so to speak. But it comes in a couple of different camos. This gun, hands down, I think they're $1,000. Now, if you're in the market for a shotgun or you want to try a different brand or whatever the reason is, you're going to buy a shotgun. I'm not sure how you don't look at this. From the forcing cone to the removable trigger guard, that's aluminum. Everything about this gun, the 28-inch barrel, the recoil system, the fit and finish, the pad here for your cheek. I'm not really sure how you don't look at this gun. I mean, there's tons of good manufacturers out there, but price or not, if you don't have a budget and you can spend unlimited, I still don't understand why you wouldn't look at this gun to say this is going to be my primary, because it simply has too many features to not be looked at and at least tried, or talk to a buddy, or reach out to me, drop a comment below. Maybe I give you my email, we can talk offline to see if there's any other questions. But really, guys, there's nothing really to say about this other than it's been flawless. 60 days into the season, Utah, saltier than the ocean, sand. I've hunted the Columbia River, the Snake River. We're starting to freeze right now. I just haven't had it fail. And so, sorry if I'm repeating that, but that's the reality. It's just been a phenomenal, flawless shotgun. And I hope that you guys can go check it out, find it before you make that purchase. I would definitely put this on the compare block and ask a bunch of questions at it. But for me, this gun's second to none. And I don't say this kiddingly, but the price and the totality of it, it has to be the new Inertia King. And that's the Retay Ace. This one's an extra black, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.